Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of Patriot News Network. I know I said we weren't going to do anything on Sunday, but if you click the share link below or above, wherever you're watching this, there's a few things that I have to get off my chest. So, we're hearing now in the mainstream news that the Democrats have proposed a 2.1 or 2.2 trillion dollar stimulus package for our economy. I mean, it sounds like a big number. It is a big number, but buried inside the bill is really what we need to look out for. We have elected representatives who say, "Yeah, we're going to just pass it through and no problem whatsoever." But I'm here to tell you, as American citizens, we have to be very, very cautious because in reality, this is going to kill our economy. I don't care if it's on the right side. I don't care if it's on the left side. I'm going to call it out because it is important for us. Both Republicans and Democrats historically have been all for burdening down the economy. They want to bury us under absolutely stifling debt. I was talking to a gentleman. We're discussing how a lot of the Keystone XL pipeline being shut down. We were actually going to see a lot of things start happening, and he was actually kind of nervous, and I don't blame him. So that's a first topic we're going to cover today is the Keystone XL pipeline. Anybody that's been paying attention, they know that it runs from Canada to the Texas, and it provided over 150,000 jobs, all of which were fairly high paying. I mean, I think the minimum person working on the pipeline was being paid about $20 to $25 an hour minimum. I know it's my day off. But this is kind of one of those things that I have to discuss. So when the Keystone XL pipeline is being shut down per executive order, executive action, whatever you want to call it, and we're seeing all these politicians, right and left, I'll lump them all together because it doesn't matter. They're all part of that problem. They're the right. I'll say this about the right. They're really good when it's their people in power, but the second there's a Democrat or another party in power, they just knuckle in and go underneath the flow. Here's my message, and go ahead, guys, share this. Let people know what's going on because it is absolutely disgusting to see rhinos like Mitch McConnell, rhinos like John Thune of South Dakota. I'm telling you, John Thune will be primaried come this next election. There, people like him and people like Mitch McConnell who are heavily greased from the palms of the lobbyists. They're the ones who are just saying, "Oh, it don't matter. We're just going to deal with this. We're going to get the stain. We're going to get the stain of Trump out of the Republican Party." Well, if Trump was a stain, then it's time for you guys to leave because the Republican Party or the GOP as a whole, based off the values that it started out on, are not reflected anymore by the leadership at the very top of the party. You guys don't represent what we are doing. We they do not represent what we do. They do not represent who we are as a party. They never all they're about is who can line my pockets the most and who cannot. We are definitely heading down a road where the point of no return, in my opinion. And unfortunately, that is the way it's going. And we're not going to be able to get away from that. So going back to the Keystone XL pipeline, I was talking to probably 5 different people. Sorry about the kids in the background, but I'm going to just keep plowing forward and we're going to keep going. I'll actually go and get them, boot them out. But so give me just a second. I will be right back with you guys. And yeah, I know kids don't bother people, but for everybody's sake, I want to make sure that I try to keep this as professional as possible. But in the grand scheme of things, guys, when I talked to this guy, he said, Shane, I was literally making $150,000+ a year working on this pipeline. To, with a stroke of a pen, watch the man who is supposedly the president of the United States take my job away. He said, if my boss would have came to me before this happened and said, you're fired, you did this, this, and this wrong, he said, I would have accepted it. But to have a politician eliminate jobs at the snap of a finger because he didn't like the president before him, he didn't like how good of a job he did, he didn't like anything, is wrong. And I agree with him. I think that as politicians, you guys who are politicians, and definitely guys, share this message because I am a little bit upset. If you can't tell, politicians are just that. They're politicians. They don't care about the people in the middle class. One last second, and I will be right back. Okay, no more distractions. But the politicians don't care. You call Mitch McConnell's office. I'm sorry. He is in a meeting right now. Can I take your message? No, I want to talk to the man himself. You call John Thune's office. I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. Can I take a message? No, I want to talk to the man himself. They can't be bothered. And this isn't just John Thune and Mitch McConnell. It is a lot of the Republicans and a lot of Democrats. They can't be bothered to take the phone calls of the people who are suffering. They don't care enough to keep people employed. They have an obligation as the senators, as our leaders, as leaders of this country. They have an obligation to their constituents. And if they can't be bothered to take the phone calls, then why the heck are they in office? So here this man is, literally had a $150,000 job wiped out, all because of an executive order. And if they really care about the environment, why aren't they sanctioning the Nova 2 pipeline that's going on over in Russia? Why don't they sanction the parties that are tied to that? Because they're more concerned about other countries getting more developed than they are about keeping the United States developing. They care more about that than they care about anything else. Guys, I will get to your questions. I promise you. I'm going to just rapid fire through. Normally, I do not just jump on without letting anybody know, without having any material. I try to have everything set up before I go live. But this kind of has me bothered when we sit here and we discuss what's going on, why people are suffering. This Texas incident. I'm sure you guys all know, and I'm sure the fact checkers are going to come after me after this video airs on YouTube and is up for more than 24 hours. The fact checkers are going to be like, Joe Biden's executive order did not eliminate 150,000 jobs. It only eliminated 50,000. Or they're going to say something like that. And you know what? Quite honestly, I don't care. They can fact check it. I love to see them try. When you sit there and you destroy somebody's livelihood without accountability and then just cavalierly say, you know what? Oh, they could just become coders. Or we could retrain them how to build solar panels. Well, look and see how well the solar panels and the green energy movement look at Texas. See how well that worked out for them. I'll give you a heads up. They were out of power for 6 days. There's so much more to the talking heads yipping in each other's ear, telling each other what they want to hear. I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. That's not my job. My job is to tell you what you don't want to hear. And the hard facts. The hard facts are people who are going to suffer. And under the Biden administration, from day one, they have started the people suffering, and it's not going to stop until he's out of office. Kamala Harris, there's already discussions ongoing in regards to invoking the 25th Amendment. There are people that I know that work inside most administrations, have been through 5 of them. So these guys are about as nonpartisan as it gets. And they are already hearing rumblings of a 25th Amendment assertion. Well, they do that, and Kamala Harris takes over. We are in for a world of hurt. And the liberal mainstream media, oh, Joe Biden is planning to go down to Texas as early as Tuesday. If it was Trump, would he have waited a full week, almost a week and a half, to go down to Texas to see what the damage was? I mean, guys, the hurricane struck. 2 days after the hurricane struck, President Trump was down in the Gulf states, assessing the damage, actually helping, actually making sure the resources were getting to the places that they needed to get to. Joe Biden called it a lid on Thursday at 8 a.m. in the morning. The last time I checked, I have yet to see a single president call lid at 8 a.m. in the morning and say, guys, nothing to see here. We are not going to do a thing the rest of the day. Okay? Sleazebag politicians who have been in politics for longer than I think probably since some of you guys were teenagers when these guys first went into office. So, guys, it really upsets me when I see people going out there and talking about how the Green New Deal or this bullshit commie, and excuse the French. Normally, I try not to swear, but this BS commie push needs to end. And when you go and you hear the stories of people who are having their lives destroyed by some politician who has absolutely never worked a day in his life, has not had to provide for himself, has not had to provide for his children, have not had to provide for anybody. This, but all he did was sit there and yip on Capitol Hill. Why do we have those guys in office? Yeah, Harris took off for LA this weekend. Again, no big shock there. They're more all about the swanky parties and all that stuff that they're going on. Why hasn't she done anything? When do Democrats ever do anything? Unless it suits their needs, when do they ever do anything? But guys, when we talk about liberal politicians, when we talk about rhinos, I keep hearing rumblings that over 70% of the Republican Party said that they wish their leaders were more like Trump, who didn't have a filter, who literally spoke from the heart each and every single day. He didn't. A lot of his speeches, he never scripted. A lot of his speeches, he never scripted because guess what? He meant every word. Yeah, it might not be what people wanted to hear. Guess what? Suck it up, Buttercup. Life happens. I am a millennial. I am 30 years old. But I've spent most of my life in a conservative household. Did I consider myself conservative in any way, shape, or form? No, I considered myself a classic liberal. Live and let live. But anymore, I don't even like to be associated with a term liberal because it has the connotation of people who absolutely are in bed with authoritarian dictator style communist pieces of garbage. They let's throw this out there. Okay. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with the chat, make sure I'm not missing any questions. But we are already moving into the midterm election cycle. It started January 21st, 2021. We have 2 years to build a grassroots movement from the ground up that will make the rest of the movements. I mean, the MAGA movement is there. We need to keep building it because unless we get politicians that are more down to earth, they're not going to just sit there and say, "Oh, dear Chuck Schumer, I will kiss the ring that's on your hand." We need people who say, "Okay, let's give a middle finger to the way of doing business in Washington." We need to talk to people. We need to sit down with our constituents. We need to actually understand what our constituents are going through instead of flying into Washington, doing their votes, and then flying home to their gated communities with their armed security and say, "Oh yeah, let's defund the police." when I read, I'm gonna go over to the article that, I mean, there was several articles this morning that kind of set me off, and I was really trying to keep it under control. I really wanted to just keep today off, but then I seen the article that I'm going to put up, and it just flat out torqued me off. So the Democrats proposed this $2 trillion stimulus package because the money fairy just decides to wave their flipping a wand around and poof, there's some money. We are headed into a depression, the likes of which this country has never seen. If they get their wish, we can kiss small business goodbye. Democrats themselves say they don't really care about small business. It's all about big business for them. Guys, the United States has not pulled in $2 trillion. They're adding to what's already a $35 trillion deficit. It'll take 7 generations of fixing before we'll ever be out of debt. And I don't think there's 7 generations of politicians that are willing to fight this hard to actually get the debt under control or actually start chipping away at the debt instead of, oh, let's just go and pull another loan and pay out more money. I know everybody likes the stimulus money. Anybody that, and this is going to hurt. This is going to piss some people off, and I'm probably going to lose some subscribers, but you know what? It's important. So I'm going to say it. The money fairy has never came, and somewhere, somehow, you as American citizens and I are going to have to pay that back. I don't care if it's $2,000. I don't care if it's $5,000. I don't care if it's $12,000 that they give you and say that it's free. The money fairy didn't just wave her wand and give you money. Big government didn't just give you money. They're propping up an economy that will collapse if they continue to try to prop it up. Let it come back on its own, reinstate the pipeline, reinstate these jobs, let Americans get back to work. Let's open up our economy. Let's open up these states. Let's get rid of these mask mandates. Let's get rid of these mandates that keep people locked down and locked in their homes. Because only then can our economy truly start to thrive. Only then can we actually take on and actually start to come out of this mess. These egotistical people who think they're in power and they have complete control of everything in our daily lives. It is we the people who sent you to your house, the House of Representatives. We the people sent you to the Senate. We the people send people to the White House. And if you don't listen to the voice of we the people, let's go back to Thomas Jefferson. He said the tree of liberty must be renewed from time to time. Eventually, and this is my prediction, in my opinion, eventually that tree of liberty will get its due diligence and people will actually decide it's time to get rid of all the bull crap. So guys, if you like what I'm saying, I mean, even if you don't like what I'm saying, there are people that literally need to know, need to hear this exact message. There are people who are literally out there suffering because our politicians do not give two flying craps what people are about. But guys, I know some of you guys are on Facebook. I know some of you guys are not on Facebook. I'm gonna keep this short. I'm gonna run through, see if there's any questions that I can answer right at this time. I'm not gonna take too much of the Sunday for you guys. Spend it with your families, spend it with your grandkids, your kids, whoever. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Not on a Sunday. So I'm just going to run through here. If there's any questions, go ahead and comment below, and we will get to as many of them as we possibly can. Okay. Anything about Gitmo? No, I have not. But I really haven't. Today I was completely shut off. I was not paying attention, and then it was just one notification after another notification, and I started to lose my cool. And this has been one of those. It's kind of funny because I use this more as therapy for myself, because I do have a lot to talk about, and a lot of people don't care to hear what I have to say. And if the Supreme Court hears the Linwood or the case is a long full blown trial, I don't believe so. We'll see what happens. If they agree to hear it, it'll be a breath of fresh air, because then it means that there is some hope within our federal government. So, any other questions? I know it's probably I probably kind of went into it, and I was going hot and heavy for a little while there. I apologize, guys. I don't like to just jump in and jump out, but if you guys want, I'm gonna clip off some of this so people don't have to hear my kids and don't have to see the screen go dark for a couple. If they don't hear the case, we're screwed. No, we are not. Either way, I think it's going to be a good thing. But we'll see what happens. As I always end this, guys, we no longer can be silent. The silent majority is no longer silent. Share this message out. God bless and take care. You guys go enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you guys Monday evening, 8 p.m. And on the website, you will see when I post a podcast drop. It'll be at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. on Monday morning. So enjoy it. Share this. I will have the full video up, and on YouTube, you guys can share this with your friends, your family, your loved ones. It'll be available shortly. So we'll see you guys soon.